Mike Zaccardi, welcome back to F.A.C.E. How are you, my trading warrior brother? Been watching your tweets.
I'm doing well, Dale. How are you?
Doing okay, brother. So we're at kind of an indecision point in risk here. You could share your screen with the green box, Mike, if you want to show anything.
Yeah, I don't have anything to really show on my screen, but I'm happy to talk through any
okay. All right. Well, I'll take the screen.
Sure.
So tell me where you're at after the recent 7-8% pullback and NASDAQ acting much weaker than the S&Ps. Where's your head at on the markets and risk?
Yeah, well, if we just take a step back and consider the last year and some of the trends that have been going on, we had that big move in value stocks that started just about a year ago, and those rallied through the springtime, and then we had a big Q3 pullback in value stocks and really yield sensitive plays, with the Delta variant kind of being the reason for the pullback in some of those COVID sensitive names. And now we're getting a resumption in that. And of course, the market narrative is, what's going on with energy prices and interest rates that's really lifting energy and financials. So there's always a narrative for it, but I think big picture, we had a correction in what was working during the end of Q4 last year and Q1, and now we're getting a resumption in that. So to me, it makes
so you mean the mega cap? Because the mega cap stocks for a while went into kind of like hibernation for just moving sideways while the rest of the market was moving, and then everyone went back to the FANGs, and now the FANGs actually, there's lots of negative action. I mean, Apple has come off quite a bit from rising wedge. It doesn't look like that on the weekly, but there's a daily that looks negative. Microsoft's trying to recover off major support. Netflix has really been the strength, and it's even diverging here. So what area of the market do you like? I mean, oil has been the superstar, right? Anything oil related?
Yeah, energy and financials have definitely been working. And what's really impressive about that, especially for energy, is what's going on with the dollar, which you've been talking a lot about here since the top of the hour. The dollar's been generally rallying, and we're seeing energy prices still move higher. So, if we were to get any kind of dollar pullback, I mean, look out when it comes to oil and copper, for example. Now, things like natural gas and coal tend to be a little more energy fundamentally driven, not so much dollar driven. So those may diverge a bit, but if we do see the dollar come off a little bit, boy, that could seemingly have some very bullish implications for oil. And as oil climbs, we get near that $100 level. It would first be on Brent and then on WTI, and that would certainly drive a lot of media coverage and interest among retail investors. So that could become the main story. So we'll see how that plays out.
So if I came to you, Mike, and said, I have 100K, I'm in cash, what would you be telling me to do? Just sit on my hands for now, or deploy it? Where would you deploy it, and how much? Would you keep a certain percentage in cash? I don't know what you think about the bond market, but it's been under pressure. Let's just make believe I'm a client, and you mainly write. You don't manage money, right? Just trade your own account, and you write for a lot of different websites. More of an analyst role than a advisor role?
Correct. Yes, I do a lot of writing on markets and personal finance. I do a lot of writing at Top Down Charts, which is a popular macro event-driven charting website for traders.
What's your top chart and top down chart?
Let's see. What did we talk about recently? Well, we had a piece a few weeks ago on bullish stance on on banks, which
Mhm.
looks to be a pretty good call. We also did one recently on the comeback of value stocks, which is a lot of what I've been talking about in this recent resurgence. So that top down, we're pretty bullish on that theme of value, cyclicals, energy, financials, that area of the market kind of perking up here. And now that it's gotten some momentum, we think that will generally continue.
Okay. And any view on precious metals or the miners? They're awful cheap. They haven't really done anything except grind lower. But do you, with what you're talking about with higher yields, that could be one of the reasons they're depressed. But um, do you think that they could be close to putting in some type of low here?
Well, we're at a real key level on something like GDX. If you look at this sort of 29 to 31 zone,
Yeah, I
it's
do
been,
have it.
yeah, it's been historically rather important. So for now, it's holding. And if you look at the weekly chart of GDX last week, it wasn't the most terrible looking candle,
No,
actually.
nice
Um,
candle.
yeah, it did pull back a little bit Friday afternoon, which wasn't the best. I tend to think of
That's because gold pulled back from, I mean, gold had a wild day on the NFP. Rallied up here and gave it all back
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah, kind of classic price action on gold that we've seen in the last year. But yeah, for GDX, that week settle into the close wasn't the most encouraging thing, but for the week, finishing higher and seemingly finding some footing around this 2930 level is somewhat encouraging. But boy, there's a lot of, as we CMTs like to say, there's a lot of dead bodies hanging above current price. There's just so
Okay.
much selling pressure that may come into play on any kind of rally just because the grind lower in the last 14 months has been so severe. Um, it GDX rose above, I think, $40
Yeah.
in the summer of last year. So it has a lot of overhead supply that it may have to deal with on any rally.
Besides the oil, the natural gas stocks have been on fire, E&P, and looks like we may have had at least a temporary top in nat gas heading into winter. You have anything? Are you focused on that area at all with
Yeah,
what's
definitely.
happening?
Yeah, I actually spent 6 years in the energy trading and risk management world, and it's still something I keep a very close eye on. And here we are right now on natural gas. It's been very volatile of late.
Uh,
I'm showing prompt month, which is November natural gas at a $5.61, which is off the high, but up more than it's more than doubled in the
yeah,
last year. So
yeah.
we're seeing a lot of volatility there in the gas market. Fundamentally, a lot's going to depend on uh, both domestic and international conditions. How cold is it going to be in the first part of the winter? As of now, looks like a somewhat mild forecast is in the cards for Europe and Asia, as well as the United States for the first portion of winter. But I've been reading some things that suggest the back half could see some colder risks, which of course would be bullish for natural gas.
You have a view on crypto, Mike?
Yeah, I think crypto has seen a lot of buyers step in on these pullbacks. I mean, the pullbacks have been violent when they've happened, but just take a look at, for example, that news in China just in the last few
Yeah,
weeks, quote unquote, banning Bitcoin, which they're wont to do. Um, we saw a dramatic pullback immediately, but then buyers stepped right back in. So there's so much buying activity that seems to come in once we see these pullbacks. So to me, the momentum is on the side of the bulls with crypto. Next stop has got to be this mid 60s level for Bitcoin. Those peaks from
yeah, right here.
Q1, Q2. So
Yeah,
that'll be in the area to watch, and we're getting right there now. And then it's also to pay attention to, what's going on with Ethereum and then some of the other smaller ones too,
There's
because
Ethereum.
we've tend to see some rotation among individual cryptocurrencies, sort of like stocks. I mean, you could
Yeah,
almost consider these the new stocks, having a more than $2 trillion crypto market cap. Um, while it's still small compared to the global equity and fixed income markets, individual players here, you can consider them just like stocks and how they trade. Um, so yeah, momentum seems to be on the side of the bulls, and just keep an eye on relative strength among individual cryptocurrencies, and those could be the ones to play, because we could see a certain cryptocurrency make new all-time highs while Bitcoin doesn't. And of course, the media will focus on Bitcoin, but there could be other stories at play that are the emerging cryptocurrencies.
okay. Anything else you want to wrap it with, Mike?
Oh well,
And,
let's
and
just
do, and do you have a service or no axe to grind as far as looking for subscribers or clients, or
yeah, not too
you're not?
much. I mentioned Top Down Charts. Callum
Right.
Thomas did a great job there. Wall Street Horizon for traders who are looking for corporate event coverage, which really drives price action in individual stocks. And then I also write personal finance items at Humble Dollar. And then I also provide services for financial advisors on the analytical and writing side. But that's kind of my game right now. Um,
Okay.
I would just button it up with taking a bigger picture stance in the market. This year has been a year of such positive rotation in the market. I think we've seen these periods where mega cap tech has pulled back, at which time value stocks outperform, and vice versa. To me, these are signs of a healthy equity market. So I don't expect a sharp drawdown anytime soon. We would have to see deterioration in several different groups, which are just not seeing yet. We're seeing traders move to one piece of the market to the other. And to me, in my putting my technician hat on, that's a positive sign for equity markets.
Yeah, there's the S&Ps right there. Looks like 4360, pretty important support level after the recovery last week.
Yep.
Back under that, maybe we get a retest of the lows or another low, 4260 or so. So, Mike, I really appreciate you taking time on a Monday when we're all trying to get our sea legs back on the market, and sharing your views with us today.
My pleasure.
And
Thank you, Dale.
and you could follow Mike at Mike Zaccardi. And here you go. Here's Mike. And just like it sounds, MikeZACCARDI. And recommend that you follow Mike. He puts out some very interesting tweets on Twitter, and they'll keep you abreast macro wise. So appreciate you being here, Mike. Thanks for having a giving spirit and showing up today.
Thank you.
So that's a wrap, everyone. Still kind of a quiet day, but I'm sure that we're going to get some action this week with the numbers. Again, here's the S&Ps, pretty important line here at 4358. It's rallying back off it, and hope everyone has a great trading day, and we'll see everyone tomorrow for the Turnaround Tuesday session. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And you could join the team at 15 after the hour for the morning edge. And with that being said, thank you everyone for your attention. Thank you, Mike Zaccardi, and everyone have a great day. Thank you, Mike. Adios.